Fingerstyle fursday. Hello. Welcome to this lady's very first Fingerstyle Thursday. So let me know how you think that sounds. Today we are talking about the key of E minor, and actually there's a very nice tuning that we can use for our ukulele to give ourselves pretty much an open E minor tuning. It just requires our C string to be tuned down to a B. Now, there's quite a few ways of altering your tuning. C to B is only one semitone, so it's a very, very tiny amount. It should sound the same as your second fret on your A string. There's no wobbling between them. The easiest way is to just use a normal clip-on chromatic tuner until it says B. That's absolutely it. Or, as one of my students does, which is quite clever, if you fret the first fret, that's a C. So if you play that and fret it the first fret, it should match a C, just like normal. So yeah, so if you use a guitar tuner or something like that, if you tune your ukulele normally, but just on your, basically on your C string, if you just make sure you fret the first fret and then play it, that should be a C. So that's another clever way of getting your tuning down without worrying too much about whether you've got it right or not. So, but anyway, the reason this is called, I call it an open E minor tuning, is because first strings are a G, B, and an E, which straight away is a nice E minor chord, which sounds really dramatic because of the low B as well. Obviously we've got the A string here. Now the A doesn't really fit in, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to play a nice E minor scale on the A string, and that is basically where all these melody notes in the piece are coming from. I'm always picking out of this E minor scale because, again, we're in the key of E minor, so when you're in the key of something, use the scale. Okay, so let's talk about our E minor scale first of all, because then you can have a play around with just a bit of improvising. That's really fun. So all of the A string, if you play the 7th fret, that's the first note of your scale, which is an E. Then if you've got 2 frets, that's an F sharp, which is the second note of your scale. Then we go up 1 more fret to the 10th fret, that's a G. Now you could go up to the 12th next, but 12 and open are the same, so I advise going to open, which is an A. Then 2nd fret, B. Then 3rd fret, C. Then 5th fret, D. And that leads you straight back to your starting point, which is E. So you have E, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, and then back to your E. Now the great news about this is because we have an E minor chord on here, it means that you can actually strum that chord with any of those melody notes. So just for shits and giggles, what I'd actually suggest first of all is getting used to your E minor scale on your A string, but then either, if you like, you can strum the entire thing, and you have lots of melodies hidden within that E minor chord. So you've constantly got this E minor chord in the background, but then you've got that melody note on top. So just playing around with that is lots of fun. If you want to do fingerstyle, whatever you like, but basically as long as you follow that scale on the A string and keep these 3 kids open, then you can improvise nicely and have a little play around. Just be adventurous and see what it comes with. That's basically, anyway, that's the idea that I'm using to craft these melodies in here. Let's go talk about the piece now. So the right hand pattern, we're using 16th notes, so 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is play, and we're not going to worry about the left hand for the moment, okay, just the right hand. So I'm going to play a very traditional ukulele arpeggio, which is 3, 2, 4, 1. Now usually I'd use my middle finger, but unfortunately he's a bit fucked at the moment, so I'm primarily using this, and this is why, because actually this uses a bit of what I call lazy strumming, so we'll talk about that. Anyway, you first need your ukulele arpeggio, which is 3, 2, 4, 1. That's what we need there. But on this 1, you've got 2 ways of doing this. I want you to actually hit the strings 1 and 2. So for me, I always use my index finger and just gently graze the 2. But if you like, you could use these 2 children and pinch them, or actually you could also, if you're a 4-finger player, you could use your middle and your ring also. So just have a play about which you prefer. Like I said, mine is, I always call it lazy strumming, and it's because basically my thumb bounces off the high G and then I hit those 2, because I usually up strum with this kit. So I'm sort of I'm strumming a little tiny bit. And that's how I like to play. But you feel free to do whatever you like. That's just how I do it. So on the right hand, we're actually going sort of, once we do our arpeggio, we basically bounce between this 1, 2, and then thumb on the open G. So we basically sort of go 3, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, until you finish the bar. So counting wise, that would be 1, E and A, 2, E and A, 3, E and A, 4, E and A. Then you know you've done because you've counted all these 16th notes. So the very first thing I'll suggest is getting comfortable with that pattern and being confident that you hit a bar, because actually counting in music can be one of the hardest things. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A. So every bar we reset back to the arpeggio. Otherwise we stay bouncing between the 4th and 1 and 2. Right, that's pretty much everything that's going on with the right hand. So talking about the left hand, we're going to start here on the 10th fret with our ring finger, which is actually an E minor chord. Shocking, right? So we're basically going to walk between this 10th fret with our ring finger, 9th fret middle, and then 7th fret with our index. But we're going to start off with our ring finger on 10. Right, so the first thing we do is we play our little arpeggio, 3, 2, 4, 1, 2. And then basically we're going to use that technique we talked about, so my thumb will always alternate between plucking 1 and 2 after it. So as soon as you played the 10, that's when you go down to the next fret, which is the 9, and then it'd be 7, and basically you're going to hold out on 7 for the rest of the bar. So you go 1, E and A, 2, E and A. 3 E and A, 4 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A. So again, I'm just using the E minor scale there. Next, we're going to come to this chord here. So that's the 1st fret on our 3rd string, and I'm using the 2nd fret, 1st string. Did I say 3rd? 3rd string. And that's actually a C major 7 because of the B, we're 1 fret higher. So with that chord there, I use my ring finger. You can use your middle finger if you want, but I find it way more comfortable with my ring finger there. We're going to do exactly the same right hand pattern. And again, here we changed note every single time. Sort of on the right hand, we're going to do the same, but basically we're going to play 2, open, 2. So that's the only movement we're going to do there. So instead of 10, 9, 7, we're going 2, open, 2. And again, same pattern, 3, 2, 4, 1, 4. And we keep that lazy strumming alternating right there. Okay, next we're going to come to this, I call it a G/D, but basically it's the middle finger, 3rd fret, 3rd string, and then index finger, 2nd fret, 1st string again. So as usual, we're going to use the same right hand pattern, and the movement between this one is we start off on the index finger on the 2nd fret, 1st string, then we're going to go to the open, and then we're going to basically go to the 2nd fret on the 3rd string, 2nd string, 2nd string. And if you're wondering why I've picked the second string there, that's because that is an F sharp. And if you remember, E, F sharp. So it's just an air scale. It's just lower than all the way up here, that's all. So for that G/D, we're going 1, E and A, 2, E and A. So again, it's movement every single time. 2, open, and then 2 on the second string. Okay, for the next bar, I'm going to the 7th fret on the A string. I'm going to play that with my ring finger, which again is an E minor chord. Still, same as the 10th fret. That was an E minor. This is also an E minor. Okay, I'd advise having your index finger on the 5th fret as well, because we basically will be coming to that straight away. So I'd get them both in position instantly. So for this one, the timing's a little different. So we're going to go 1, E and A, and then basically we'll do the movement. So we'll go to our index, and that's 2 E and A. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. And actually we're going to play the exact same thing again. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. So we get the arpeggio twice in the bar instead. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A. So once we've done that, we go back to the start. So we go back to 10th fret. Then we walk our way back down to the C major 7. The G/D. And then next, this one's a little bit more tricky because I've tried to explain it at least 5 times. We're going to start with a nice open chord there, which technically is an E minor plus an A. So an E minor at 11. Sure, yeah, all right. That's what it is. And we're going to go play our arpeggio, do the same, but then you're going to add your index finger to that low F sharp, 2nd fret, 2nd string. So you have your arpeggio, add that finger, then remove it. So that one can be a little bit tricky, so let's try that again. So we start off with all the opens, add your index, remove, and that's 1 E and a 2 E under again, so the same pattern that we had earlier. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, that's it. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. So you just have to make sure you add that when you're about to do your little lazy strum there. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. And we're going to do that basically 4 times in a row. 1 E and A, 2 E and A. And that is our piece finished. As usual, all tabs are on Patreon. If you like this video, please like and maybe consider subscribing. Love you, goodbye.